Okay, I think we're live. I just want to set this up a little bit better. Okay, welcome folks to Practice Live. This is a monthly broadcast where we drop in with folks from all over the world and many walks of life. And we talk about what it takes to really be here because it's a practice. Oh, look, folks are here. That's awesome. Today's guest is us. I'm Meg, and this is Charlie, my
Hi.
husband. And we're going to talk about the power of the pivot, of what it looks like to pivot with grace. We have had a huge couple of weeks. Most of you who are close with us know that Charlie had a heart attack on December 4th, and it completely rerouted our lives, which were already in a reroute. But before we go any further, I would love to turn it over to you. And I don't know, what's important for those who are watching to know about you, about what's important for us to know about you. It's funny because I'm so used to interviewing somebody like, you know, on a separate screen, but we're in the same room, which is kind of lovely.
It's important to know about me. My life changed
Yeah.
dramatically a couple weeks ago. And I've been given a second chance to really look at the way I live my life. That's what's up with me.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been given a second chance to look at how I live my life.
I'm no longer interested in making the life. I'm just part of it and enjoying realizing that. And that's already changed everything.
We're going to take a breath with that. It really does change everything to no longer make life, to not wrangle life the way that we want it to be, but to like arrive, to continue to arrive and depart, as they say.
Yep. Best place ever.
Best place ever.
It's hard to be anxious or depressed in the present moment, really. So the closer we can draw those in, and like Meg said, constantly arriving in a state of departure, fucking woo, powerful place.
Yep. Something we talk about in our house is that we're not really kinds of people. You know, as I asked this question of like, what's important for us to know about you? Charlie could answer that. Not to answer for you, but I'm just, you know, because you're my husband and we're kind of like sharing some of our coffee talk energy with you here live on the internet. You know, like you've been like a professional snowboarder and a skateboarder and a musician and an engineer and a homesteader and a father and a husband and what's important to know
is I was Charlie all of those times. It was me the whole time. I wasn't a musician and a dad and a snowboarder or an artist. Like I just was doing those things as me, and that's something that I'm real proud of.
Yeah.
I didn't have to become those things to do them.
Yep.
I was the basis of it all along, which was really cool.
That's really cool.
I never really had to fake those things ever.
Even if it's not faking, right? It's like, this isn't, I think a thing that you and I, as we're talking about this power of the pivot thing, I feel like a piece of what has been with us in all of the pivots, particularly the ones we've made in the last few weeks, is that our identity isn't entrenched in what we're doing. And because our identity isn't entrenched in being homesteaders, when we got the signal to move, okay, so let's tell a story. We have a story. We were about to make our very last mortgage payment, which actually could have happened in July, but for a series of reasons happened in September. But in August, I was in California and Charley was here on the homestead, and loving these comments. We got to fuck yeah. I was in California and Charley was here on the homestead, and independently on a Wednesday, I'm pretty sure at the same time, because we reported later, we both got a signal. We may have experienced it differently, and I'll have you share a little bit in a moment what that was like for you. But I felt a thing. I was dancing every day. I was staying in this beautiful place, and I was dancing every day. And in the middle of my dancing time, I got this whoosh, this movement, like a gong moving from inside of me. And I heard, "Get out of the way so the next family can have access to the healing here." And I was like, what? Wait, what? Like, kind of like, who this? And it was like the mountain itself has been in a conversation with us. And I don't need anyone else to whatever, believe me about how Earth talks directly, but Earth can talk really directly if you allow it. And I got home and I hadn't reported that to Charley because it was basically like, you gotta move. And I'm like, I don't want to move. We're about to make our last mortgage payment. We love our place. It was like the height of like one of the best parts of the year here. And like, it wasn't my desire. Like, it wasn't a conscious desire to leave this place. We in fact had plans with some friends who are in the room right now. Like we had some plans, you know? And the signal came and it was undeniable. It's a thing we totally could have piled over. We could have totally ignored it. We could have totally kept going and pushing, and we could have. But I got home and I was like, I had a weird thing happen. And Charley was like, well,
yeah, that same day, ironically, I was out working on the property, and I just had this, like, all of a sudden I looked up and was like, holy shit, I could sell this place. And it was a surprising feeling, like Meg said, because we just fucking paid it off. We just paid it off. Things were about to get really
smooth sailing.
The hardcore structure of the place was done. It was all just going to be finished work and refinement for the next couple of years. It was going to be more maintenance and living here. You know, the crunch was kind of over, and I was like, wow, it was just like an odd feeling. And then when Meg brought it up, I was like, well, yeah, I actually got the same signal. As odd as it seems, like whatever the hell we approved of our life is not, this place can't support this new life that we've approved for ourselves. And that's the way it felt. I wasn't heartbroken. It wasn't even bittersweet.
Yeah.
This place is really special. And I've said for a while now that healed and steeled us. But and actually it broke us. And that's really okay. It was like the way through it all, between Meg's hysterectomy and everything involved with that last year. And then I've been having coronary issues now that we're
unbeknownst.
Yeah. Now that we, in hindsight, there were a few episodes even earlier this year where I started to have a heart attack, and it stopped after a minute or a minute and a half upon reflection of what now a heart attack feels like. And so this has been going on now for a better part of this year at least. So yeah, this place will fix you right up.
It's powerful.
It's a powerful place. And it was ready to let us go.
I mean, yeah, literally it told us through me to basically get out of the way.
Somebody else's turn here to steward this place, because we never owned it. We never said that. We were there to steward it, and we knew that from the get-go. It had been really fucking abused by people before us. Extracted from, and just kind of shit on and used. And when we showed up, it was like, awesome. And we did a lot here. We brought a lot of life back into this place, and created, had a well drill which brought water to the surface, and that was just, this whole place exploded with life. And so did ours. So did my heart. So did your womb. Like, everything blew up. Yeah. Yeah. The elegant orchestration of it all. We'll get into that.
We'll get into it. Yeah. So from August, right? So we got a signal, and then we navigated the signal. It's like, okay, so if not here, where? And we made a planned trip to go visit Charley's dad in Montana, which led to a series of elegant moments and connections, including a mechanic that I feel like I can share here of like, he's going to tend the fire. Charley's dad's really special. And I noticed a thing that was happening in conversation with him, which is that he kept sharing this mechanic of like, well, I'd want something, and then I'd kind of like know where to look for it, and then I'd find that, and it would be like at a great price and easy to get. And he shared like 4 stories of that, and I paid attention to that because it's not like, that's not a usual form of his communication. So I was just like, well, that's interesting that you're kind of sharing this mechanic of how you manifest stuff. And we were, like, we're sort of listening for where to go with the signal. Like, okay, what do you want from us? Like, life. Well,
he told, like Meg said, he told us how he gets what he wants. And so we went home from that first trip, and I applied that to something that Meg's always wanted. And there was this thing right there, like 40 minutes from his house. There was a gallery for sale with a house built on the back of it. She's always wanted to live in the back or above a gallery space for her art and everything. And I was like, check this out, and we inquired about it right away because it was awesome, and it had sold the day before. Yeah. It had been on the market for over 1.5 years, and literally it went under contract the day before we wrote to him, and we were like, "Ooh, that was close." Yep. And then she's like, "I got some other properties. Don't worry about it. We'll figure you guys something out if you really want to move out here." And she had a gas station and an antique shop. And I was like, "A gas station, huh?" So we
didn't really think seriously about it, because like at very first, because it was like, gas station, huh? Like, neither of us are, that fuel doesn't, barons, we're not like, fuel barons. Yeah.
And so then the more we looked into it, the more we were like, holy smokes, if we could make this work, we can be where we want, closer to where we want to end up at the time. And it was going to speed up our retirement, if you will, our ability to get where we wanted to be a lot faster. This was a level of business that was going to very rapidly get Meg and I what we wanted to go do, whatever we wanted, and retire in 5 years instead of 20. Yeah. Basically. And so, but we knew it was going to be a lot of work and a lot of learning and a lot of hurdles and stuff. But we went with it on the contingency of our stuff, our property selling here. And I literally made a half of our stuff is in Montana, like in a storage unit.
We had a few $1,000s invested in the deal, and Our stuff is there, and we were planning on moving on December 12th. And
So
then
I went out the week before on the Monday and dropped our stuff off, and I was gonna go Monday, and then I'm tired and I don't like to just rush back. It's an 8.5 hour drive there. So I drive out and spend a couple days with my dad and kind of recharge, and then drive home Thursday. And I went to leave on Monday, and it didn't look like it was going to work out. So I was going to have to go Tuesday anyways, and then come back on Thursday. But I ended up figuring it out and leaving that next morning and left on Monday. So then I'm sitting with my dad on Tuesday night, and he turns to me and says, "So you're going to go home tomorrow, huh?" And I was like, "No." I was thinking, no, I was going to stay till Thursday and get another day of kind of rest. But we were watching TV, and I kind of go, after thinking about it for even 10 seconds, I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to go home tomorrow." And because I got stuff at the house to do to button it up so we can move, right? I got plenty of work to do. I said, so yeah, I'm just going to get in the car and go home tomorrow, a day early. And I did that. I went home a day early, and then Thursday morning woke up and had a heart attack here at the homestead. I would have been on the road somewhere in the middle of Montana. It wouldn't have gone as well. And Meg would have been very far from me, and everything would have been insanely complicated. So I was grateful again that I was where I was when it happened. The internet was out the whole time I was gone.
Okay, so this is the elegance of the orchestration of all that is, which is such an important, these are important mechanics to this like pivot.
The internet with the barn was out when I was gone the whole time. Yep. Meg only had internet out here at the studio. And so when I came home that Thursday morning, I came out here and called the people about the internet at the barn. And they said, "No, everything looks good. We don't know what's going on. We'll have to put a ticket in." So I was like, okay, it's all I can do. I went back to the house and puttered around there, and the internet came back on at like 10:46 in the morning. And I texted Meg and said, "Yeah, the internet's back on." Like, it was them. And we got we did get an email and a phone call from them that said, "Ooh, yeah, it was us on our end." And they had reset their end of things and everything was working. Not 13 minutes later, my heart attack started. I was at the barn. I was like, "Ooh, it's almost lunch. It's almost 11. I might as well eat." So I was cooking food, and my heart attack began. And I was within 13 minutes of not being able to even reach Meg there.
And I was beginning a session. I was beginning a session at 11, and at like 11:03, I get a text from Charley saying, "I'm not feeling well.
I need help."
And I need help. And if the internet hadn't been on, I wouldn't have found him for like an hour and a half.
I couldn't have made it to the studio. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way I would have made it to the studio to get help. I couldn't even talk barely, let alone yell. It would have gone very differently.
Yeah.
Once Meg got to me too, we realized she wasn't going to be able to get me off the mountain.
Because it was icy. The road was actually like thick with ice.
There were going to have to be chains involved.
And I was in shock, basically. I looked at him and was like, "You're having a heart attack." Like, we need to get help right now. And our neighbor, our beautiful neighbors, the husband of the pair, they have been having to go back and forth because they're officially moving fully over here. And he had left we had thought he was going to be back on Monday, but he actually got back an hour before Charley had a heart attack. And so we were able to reach him and say,
"You got to get us off this mountain."
Yeah. Like, help. And I was like, "I think we maybe need help." And fortunately, they all read through that and like just showed up. Because I was just like, is it COVID? Like, are you just coming down with like intense COVID, or are you having a heart attack, or like you're having a heart attack? We need help. We need to get down the hill. So the elegance of the orchestration of Charley's dad tilting his head and just knowing and speaking, that's a piece. The internet elegantly turning on. Wow. don't even know how to account for that.
Coming home a day early. Yeah.
Coming home a day early, the elegance of the neighbors showing up an hour before, so that his clear-headedness, because he just knew how to get Charley in the car, had a blood pressure.
He had a cuff on my arm.
Like
before
it was
I got
like
in the truck, he put a cuff on my arm, and they were getting my blood pressure right as I was getting in his truck. The whole thing was.
And he tended both of us with so much like clarity and presence.
Another thing that my dad, the way my dad saved my life, I'm so glad your dad asked you that.
Yeah.
My dad had a heart attack when he was 52, and I had mine when I was 53. And one thing that I will never forget him telling me was, as his heart attack started to come on, he was climbing a barbed wire fence, and he felt it start. And he thought it was his neck. And that's exactly what I thought it was too. I thought it was my neck was out, because it started at the base of the top of my spine, where it connects to my skull, is where the pressure and pain first started. And it moved down into my throat and chest. But I remember him telling me that what saved his ass was he could manipulate his neck into a certain spot where it would stop that building of the pressure. And I remembered that right away. And I laid a certain really contorted way on the floor and had my neck bent a super weird way. But if I did that and got in that position, the pressure stopped. And at least like the car that was now parked on my fucking chest wasn't like backing up and over it. It was at least just stopped. And that totally saved my ass too. My dad in the back of my head there. I owe a lot. I owe a lot to that deal too.
And hopefully any of you who are listening can hear parts of that. Like, I think both of us thought like a heart attack would be like, and like you just kind of keel over.
Your heart blows up and everything. But
and like sometimes I think it happens like that. But this was like,
mine got totally clogged I had clogged to the right side so bad that a blood clot went down in there and finished it off and sealed it. So the right side of my heart couldn't pump blood. And it was pushing against that blockage. Some of the right side of my heart didn't get any oxygen for like 6 hours. My left side did all the work until they could get me all the way to the cardiac unit in Wenatchee, 3 hours away.
Oh yeah. So
after a half an hour, the doctor said after half an hour the tissue begins to die. So they were pretty excited and I'm pretty excited that I suffered no permanent damage after 6 hours of getting my ass kicked.
So, okay, right. So we got to the local hospital, and they pretty much looked at him bewildered, like, we can't really do anything for you. It's pretty much like, well, we're going to wait until we can get you out of here. So they just kind of, stabilized him.
They put a robot on my chest that would shock me back to life if I dipped out.
Yep.
And it was like this automatic CPR robot thing. And they were just pumping me with drugs and everything as fast as they could just to keep me there in my body.
And then mid-flight, we couldn't fly him out because there was too much weather. It was like foggy.
The helicopter was grounded.
So the med-flight was a 2.5-hour ambulance ride to the closest bigger hospital. So that was... And thank goodness they immediately, brought him in, and within 10 minutes.
Within 10 minutes, I had two stents in, and my heart attack was ended. The drug, a lot of times they can stop these heart attacks with drugs, and because I was in such shock, it reroutes your everything, and it won't let those drugs flow through your heart or something.
Yeah.
And so they couldn't stop my heart attack with the drugs. And that's when they were like, we got to fly you out of here. We can't stop it.
Yeah. So that's like, these are some of the mechanics of some, this rollout of this story. But I know a piece that if you're open to talking about it would be powerful, is the touch of death.
Yeah, if that's where you want to go with it. I mean,
no. Are you willing to go there?
No, I am. It's fair warning, trigger warning. If you've had NDEs or anything like that, I'm going to tell you what it was like. Because I was offered I was offered a way out.
Yeah.
And it wasn't what I thought it was like
Yeah.
going to be at all. And I know everybody has a different experience. When I was laying on the floor, Meg had gotten to me, and she was talking to me. And I was responding because she wanted to make sure that I stayed there with her. And I did my best. I couldn't talk, but I would give her the thumbs up and responded with vocally when I could, you know. And she was talking to me. And then at one point, nobody was there. And I was sitting, I was all on the floor crumpled up, but then I was sitting up in like a chair that just wasn't there. And the back door was wide open. And in fact, there wasn't even a door. It was just kind of an opening in the back of the house. And I could see outside. And then this felt started coming in the house. Like it wasn't liquid, but it flowed in, tumbled in. And it kind of started to pool around me and fill the room. And I knew what was going on, and it was so inviting. I've hurt for years.
Mm-hmm.
My body has hurt. This has been going on for so long, and I've hurt. It hurts to eat. It hurts to digest food. It hurts to sleep. It hurt to do anything in my life, and I was fucking sick of it. And when I put my feet down into that fucking felt, like I remembered what it was like to not hurt at all.
Yeah.
And then Meg was like, Charley, 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 Charley. And she was shaking me. And the dog was licking my head. And the carpet was in my face. And I rolled over and put my feet against the fridge and just kind of bared down. And I knew, I was like, woof, okay. It's an instantaneous place. It's an instantaneous place. And you don't have, I say I was given the choice, but the choice is made before the question's finished asking. Like, it already knows, it all knows. You don't have to waffle. There's no more data. I was back in the fucking rug, you know, like.
And then the second visit.
And the second visit was much more intense when they got me into the hospital and they got me into the hospital bed and they put the thing on me and they were doing the drugs. It was violent. It wanted to strangle me. I couldn't breathe. All of a sudden I couldn't breathe and it was binding up my throat and my chest so tight that I couldn't focus on anything. I remember grabbing the sides of the bed and just hanging on, and my legs started fucking shaking.
Mm-hmm.
And it moved up, the convulsions moved up my body until my whole body was just fucking shaking. And then there were people rushing everywhere. And then I noticed like their shadows were everywhere, but the room is so lit, they really shouldn't have had, I thought, man, they shouldn't have shadows. And why are their names like so normal? It was like Jason and Leanne and Lynn. And I was like, wow, what am I thinking, you know? And then I'm looking around and the shadows like actually aren't moving with the people. The shadows are kind of darting around everybody. And I look up and I can see the main doctor and he's standing all the way across. He's like 30 feet away from me in the admin area, and everybody's moving, everything's going so fast, and he's standing still. And I made eye contact with him. He was just standing there with a mask on, and he made eye contact with me. And then I look up, and standing next to him is the black felt in there again. and it was looking at me too from over there. And all the shadows then just were everywhere, and everybody was like, it was honestly like Jacob's ladder. Like everybody's faces were just blurring, and I looked over at my wife, and DJ's eyes were there, and they were looking at me, and I was back. Like again, all the shadows disappeared, and I was hanging onto the bed. Oh wait, this one was different. I forgot one part. Right at the end, when everything felt like it came apart, it basically, this time it queried me a little bit and said, if you go back, this is gonna hurt you bad. Like if you go back, you're not gonna like this. And that fast, like again, it's not like I was just death gripping the bed again, and the convulsions were starting to calm down, and I look over, and the lady looks me in the eye and goes boom with morphine, and it just went and I remember just watching the convulsions just stop, and I was like, wow, that was nice. That morphine basically cut me off from whatever was going on there. And then once the guys from the ambulance came, that ambulance was more set up than that entire hospital. And they were able to stabilize me, even though they couldn't stop the heart attack. They stabilized me, and their drugs were like, I don't know, they had way better drugs. Whatever they gave me, I think they gave me fentanyl maybe, but they were giving me some stuff that, even though I was still having a heart attack, we just chatted the whole way for 2.5 hours.
Dude.
About gas stations and snowboarding. So yeah, weird NDE stuff. I probably had a couple opportunities there if I wanted to take but I didn't.
Let's like that just reminds me of the whole Matrix series of like, sure, it's this or that, except you already know the choice, and so there really isn't a choice. And then that intersection with free will, but also like with, no constraints on time. Anyway, like when you were sharing when you've shared about this in various points over the last couple of weeks, I'm like, that's such a, I've experienced my own moments of that, not in the same kind of health crisis pinnacle, but where it's not like a cognitive choice of this or that. It's like the thing that is known is actually there, and I could muddy it if I want to. I could make a bunch of stories or distractions from it, but the truth is the truth. And the desert of the real is
really real.
So as you were talking about that even just now, I'm like, yeah, that's curious. It's like death is like, didn't really ask you, but also asked you, but also already had the answer, which you touched on like a couple of days after this happened. Like it didn't ask me and then wait for an answer. It was like, it was responding to the answer that was already there.
Yep. Again, the only way I can explain it is like I said, it's almost like that place doesn't have time like we know it. It's an instantaneous like place, it's a the answers are known.
Yep.
The answers are there. The paths are known. The answers are there. You just.
Yep.
Again, you're not trying to make it anymore. You're just realizing you're just there being a part of it.
I appreciate Claire's words of, the choice has already happened or something. Mm-hmm. It's like it's not happening in those mechanics,
because the question wouldn't even be asked if that, like, it's like that. Yep. Like the question wouldn't even be asked unless the decision had already been made. Like it's all just such a moment of fucking realization that
this touches in on this energy of pivot of like, because okay, so when I guess we have to actually tell more of the story before I can get actually into that, because then I have no bra. I'm just like in Wenatchee for a couple of days, just free boobing. By the grace of like a real incredible friend, like we have a place to be. I had a place to stay that's comfortable because there was zero comfort in that hospital.
We all know what a hospital's like.
Oh my God. Yeah, like that was just taken care of, which is like such an incredible thing. And we're like on day 2, we're sitting in the hospital room, like dirty, sweaty, like unprepared, and like, yeah, the gas station, probably not, huh? Like probably not that. Also not off-grid living like we've been doing for almost 5 years. Like, no, probably not that. And on the drive home, those blessed neighbors came and picked us up, and we drove for 2.5 hours and like this depression set in, because it's like, we were like 95% in on a direction that looked really generous, that felt generous enough for us to like go for it. We set ourselves up for the move, we leapt before proof. We invested, we brought our stuff there. We were like all set to go. And then,
but now I can't get a CDL, and now we can't get insurance, and now we can't live, like we can't move forward that.
We can't assume that you are going to have the physical bandwidth for.
There was, before I hit the floor in the cabin, that thing was over in 8 different ways.
Yeah.
And it just took a day and a half to realize it.
And we went in deep. There was like deep, like, everything sucks and everything is falling apart and we don't know anything. Like, we like energetically allowed ourselves to kind of go there, because you can't not go there. Like, not only are you recovering from everything, including a heart attack and all of the drugs and the reality assessment of a completely different routine of like taking medications twice a day, and this homeboy's ADHD.
Oh, we got out the lac template.
Oh yeah,
we got out the lac template. Yeah. Just laid it right over there, and we just
splayed it on the table, and we were like, this piece and that piece and this piece,
boiled in it for a little bit, and then all of a sudden we were like,
I said something at like 6:30, and neither of us believed it. Like, neither of us were moved by it, but it just moved through me. And like at 7 p.m. we were like,
yep, we were okay. We realized a lot, and we were starting to realize all the little intricate, narrow margins of literal catastrophe.
Yeah.
And there's no way to be mad about what happened at that point, because like,
yeah,
15 minutes either way and I would have died.
Yeah.
You can't at that point, you can't go ruin our lives. Like, the realtor she hung up on me, basically. She turned, her true colors showed, unfortunately, which is just another, all this is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So then, like, what, not even an hour later,
pretty much,
after we made this fucking like
energetic pivot,
soul pivot, like, okay, so we got to move anyways, though, because we can't do this.
We're not prepared for winter. We had already planned to move. We don't have enough wood.
This fucking place killed me, almost killed me. And so we can't stay here. Like, this is ridiculous. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? We said.
And a dear friend reached out and was like, well, my parents died last year and I have a house in Tucson and you can be there. And if you like it, you can hang there.
Yeah. She's like, I'll take it off the market and you guys just go there and enjoy it for the rest of winter and convalesce. And if you love it there, you sell your place and, we can work something out and you guys can buy it from me, because I haven't been able to sell it for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And so we were like, wow, holy pivot, holy 180. Like, it's even like an active lifestyle retirement community. So 55 and over.
So we had basically, our plan was to like do this gas station thing for a handful of years so that we could move closer to retirement. Instead, we're just going to go to retirement.
We're just going to go to retirement.
I mean, like, I'm my work is kind of like
we're going to take
highlighting
yoga,
right now. And like, but like, what does it look like to be at the peak of my career and also in an energy of support and retirement? In sunny Arizona. Like,
yeah. And
I know, truly an amazing, I'm going to show that. Thank you, Helen. What an amazing friend. So glad somebody caught you both in a vulnerable moment. So I actually want to talk about this a little bit because I have some inconvenient things to say. I'm in my bitch era because midlife. It's fun. I'm 10 years younger than Charley, and I'm like coming into this like feisty place of clarity.
Yeah, I got knocked off my horse and she just saddled up.
You're just taking a little rest though, because your next horse is coming. So a lot of you know that I'm a minister. I'm an interspiritual, ordained and trained, 20 years in practice minister. If you don't know that, now you do. And there's some things here when people are in crisis that have to be said. And I'm keeping Helen's comment up because, like, what does it look like to actually care and not just move from one's own curiosity or one's own having the answer? I made a spicy post last week that was a little incomplete because I was in an energy of recovery myself. But in 3 different occasions in the hospital, professionals, professional practitioners turned to me while I was crying and sort of like, oh, and said, everything happens for a reason. And I was like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that right now. Like, of course, there's elegance to the orchestration of all that is. And wow, are we seeing it? And yes, we have each other. That was another thing that everyone kept saying, you have each other. And I'm like, that one I want to hear. Like, yes, we have each other. But an energy that's here, that's in this, that's a part of this process. And part of why we have a lot of bandwidth open is that, like, we are not approaching life from having an answer. One of the most beautiful, sustainable parts of our relationship in general is that we live in an energy of encounter, and we don't tend to identify ourselves so hard by things that we're doing that we're unmovable. And we are people who have answers for ourselves, but like, it's really a practice to not have the answer for somebody else when they're in active suffering or when they're in mystery in general. Like, what does it look like to be in the energy of mystery with people? And also, what does it look like to care for people in ways that are meaningful to them in those moments? And yeah, Helen, this friend is the one who also just got me a hotel room and ordered me dinner and comfy socks and a shirt that says self-care
and food and like, lotion.
She didn't ask me. She knew and let me know, like, let me confirm, like, would this be helpful? And I was like, oh my God, because I can't even make a decision right now. Like, I'm grateful I brought my purse, but like I was saying, and I realized I didn't give context for my being like braless, but I was just like, I was doing a session and I just left the house. Like, we have to leave now. Like,
we didn't have phone cords.
We didn't have like anything. I was like so grateful. I was like, Meg, bring your purse. Like, I was like, I gotta bring my purse because I was in shock. And it was just so incredible to like really have somebody really offer actual care. I'm not saying that like words aren't care. But the witness, I've had such beautiful moments for both of us. I've witnessed people witnessing Charley in this. I'm so grateful for all of you who are here, who are witnessing the story, because there's pieces here where I'm like, if you notice you're having neck pain, maybe ask your doctor to look at your heart. Cause like this went undiagnosed. This was misdiagnosed for almost the entire time I've known him.
As a kidney and neck issue.
Yeah. Which, it's not like there aren't other things, but yeah, there's...
No, but after my heart attack, I don't have any more of those neck problems, or my hands don't go to sleep when I lay down, and all that stuff. I'm not having any of those symptoms because it was all... There's
inflammation, there was infection, there was there were rashes, like there's multiple pieces that were here. Yeah. So yeah. How, like, what does care look like? And we can't all care about everyone and everything to that fullest degree. but definitely celebrating our neighbors, our neighbor friends who are dear friends. Like they really showed up in this, and our friend Steph showed up, and yeah, really, really incredible. So pivots. So, you know, receiving a signal and then navigating a signal that like moves you away from what you think you're going to do for a long time. And then like having a plan, and then having a health crisis completely pivot that plan in a way that you wouldn't have signed up for. Yeah. And then receiving another plan. And like, what would you say for you some mechanics are of having grace in being not just like invited, but really demanded to make changes? Because you particularly, you're in, well, we both are, because like we make food together, so his dietary changes become my dietary changes, which is fine with me. You know, but like you have some demands on you to like step into parts of yourself that are different now.
Yeah.
And also, if you have any mechanics around like what your process is for showing up with change with grace, that would be lovely to hear about.
I was just gonna say, so Meg and I are gonna write a book about midlife.
Definitely.
At some point, because we got a lot of juicy shit about midlife. Midlife is typically the end of the hero's journey.
The traditional hero's journey.
The traditional hero's journey, and ours, mine was more traumatic. I remember when I met Meg, I go, ooh, I can't wait to be present for your midlife crisis, because some people just put it on bread and fucking eat it like a sandwich and end up just being fueled and blown up by it. And then other people like fucking lose everything and go buy a stupid red car and get a Dewey. And you know what I mean? Like there's I've seen a lot of different ways to do it, but those are like the two main things. And mine ended a while back. I want to get into it. Mine ended a while back. So I've been in side quest mode for like, I don't know, at least since 2018, probably. I kind of been in side quest mode, and being in side quest mode really makes pivoting way easier, because you don't have like all that baggage, and you're not worried about crushing the fucking loop. You ain't like,
yeah.
You're just like, oh, if this side quest I can have many side quests at once. Like if this one fades out, then I'll just start this other side quest, and maybe I'll find something I needed for that one and this one anyways, and then finish that one up later. Like side quest mode makes it really a lot easier to pivot. And so being older and being in that place definitely is a huge boon for that. Because if I had a family and a daughter that still like, you know, relied on me or whatever, and in those ways where you got to have fucking a 9 to 5 and insurance paid, and you've got all these things like we don't have, you know, the life Meg and I lead is much more detachable, and we've done that since we met. You know, we've moved to the county and got used to that, and then we were like, let's go to the mountains and move over there, and then we did that, and now we were going to go do this other thing, and it's just all like, it's all just experience now. Pivoting is, I don't know, it makes it easier because, again, in this mode, if your dream changes, you just tell everybody your dream changed. Like it's not like
which, you know, I think it's funny, but this is actually a big piece, right? So like one of the things that, because I companion folks regularly, and a piece that I hear kind of regularly is like, ooh, what am I going to tell people?
I'm not a failed homesteader.
No,
at all.
This isn't about success or failure.
Any of that. We went and learned
hard.
to sustain ourselves you can't self-sustain 100% in this world. Can't do it.
No.
We learned that really fucking quick. You're gonna need help no matter what. That's just the way it works. But we were as self-sustaining as we were comfortable, and more than probably most people are. And it was fun. It was really fun. We played a lot, and we got to know each other even more, and then it opened our lives to this next stuff, which is cool.
A piece that I have to bring about this is that we really let this mountain change us. So there's side quest life. Yes, there's a nuthatch that's like trying to make a home in the roof. Bye. Enjoy. It's all yours. You can take over the lease. There is no lease. You're a bird. We let this mountain move us. Ooh, yeah, the shame piece, Helen. Yeah. Well, let's loop back around to that. I'll make a note. The shame piece. We let this mountain move us. So like, it's not just side quest. It's not just exploration. It's like we avail ourselves through what I would call a lens of encounter. Like we live through a lens of encounter, as in like, we're not really destination people. In fact, when we started our relationship for the first 2 weeks, we were like going about it the way that people begin relationships. You know, we were like intensely making out and spending all of our time together, completely entrenched with each other. And a clarifying moment happened, and we were both like, wait a minute, if we do this, we're gonna basically, it's gonna go the way that it goes. And it's gonna follow that track, and we're gonna wake up one day and be like, wait a minute, who am I? Who are you? And we don't want to do that. Let's do it differently. And so we spent 9 months getting to know each other. We were romantically committed. We were with each other, but like we refrained from certain things that would have like moved us into a space of addiction with each other, or
pedestaling,
or trauma bonding, any of that. And that really set us up to really approach our shared life, where our lives are shared, from a stance of encounter, because because it's not about the destination. It wasn't like marriage was our destination. We happened to get married because we arrived one day and we were like, we are. And arriving at this land and letting this land move us, we didn't try to bring the outside world here. We didn't try to like grip onto the comforts, to the ways of the world. We let ourselves, by and large, I mean, I was still working online, and it's not like you said, it's not like we were completely devoid. We have some beautiful friendships that have been involved in this place, and folks in my practice have deep relationship with this land. And like parts of the world came here, but we weren't trying to bring the world here or grip onto it. And letting ourselves be this thoroughly changed, so much happened, so much moved, so much released. I've had so many encounters with myself and my inner world that have brought clarity of like how much I don't need to carry the charge of crisis, intergenerational charge of crisis. I don't need to define myself based on things that have happened to me. I don't need to, I can really live from an energy of encounter and see what grows, instead of declaring and gripping and defining and controlling and shaping. Like,
we'd still be mad about the gas station.
Exactly. And this is part of the mechanic of the pivot, is that like, because we really live in an energy of encounter, we were able to like be mad about the fucking opportunity that changed. Wow. And okay. When it moved, we let it move. We let that piece happen.
And in our case, within an hour, it fueled this whole new path that we had no clue was there. It was absolutely completely hidden from us. Yeah. We did not know that was even a thing or anything.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't like a backup idea. It wasn't even a sort of idea. It was like it kind of emerged,
Again, because of the question. The answer came because the question, whatever.
Yeah. And this kind of comes back to the thing that you opened this space with, which is like, I'm not making my life. I'm
making my life. I'm just part of it, dude.
Part of it.
And when you look at life like that, man, all kind of paths open up. You open up all kind of stuff. Like it really closes you off when you think you know what's supposed to happen.
When you think you have the answer.
You think you have the answers, man. And boy, it was just a wake-up call for all that.
Yeah.
For me.
Same.
Life is so full of wonder. I didn't know life was so wonderful before my heart attack. Ever since I came out of that hospital, I've just been kind of blown away at the world.
Yeah.
And I've never in a new way, not in a, it's something for me to lean against and push against. That's kept me alive for way too long as Billy Goat in life. And now I'm coming down out of the mountains, come eat the green grass, fucking hang out. Like,
Helen, you're on fire. What do I do for a living? I live.
I'm alive.
Yeah. This shame piece. What do you have to say about the shame specifically? Because this came up. Helen brought this up when we were talking about, when you have a plan and everyone is invested in the plan, and then the thing shifts for whatever reason, and there's like microaggressions, micro shames that come up from other people. It's interesting to navigate that softly, to not like pigeonhole people for the ways that shame is coming up, but like but even shame from within of like, oh man, what are people going to think when I tell them that, yeah, we had this plan and that's not what's happening. I'm thinking a little bit of a few couples that I've companioned who were preparing for marriage, and they realized that marriage was not the pathway. And they had, they got their part. They had all of the investment. They had all the people, all the invitations were out, and it turns out it wasn't the right thing. And there's this energy of like, I'm letting other people down by not following through with this dream, this idea, this whatever. Anyway, do you have anything that arises when you come on, Heyoka, spicy pants, spicy pants us, if you have it.
I've let some folks down in my life that in ways that I can't ever outdo again. It's the gist of it. We all fuck up, man. We all fuck up. We all let people down. It was part of my vows with my wife.
Yeah.
I'm gonna piss you off.
Yep.
It was right in there. Know that I still love you. We're gonna upset each other. We're gonna do things that are gonna upset. You can't ignore all that, dude. You gotta shame. I don't give a fuck what you think about me anymore, especially. I don't really care. I used to take a lot of that to heart. I used to really care what people thought. I was very image based, and I was very what was it? I'm trying to think. I was very performance. Life was a performance for me. I documented everything I did, whether I shared it or not. I documented it, and I fucking kept track of it
for the likes.
And I was about them likes. Not necessarily straight up social media, but I told people stuff so they could go, yeah, that's cool, dude. And this mountain took that away from me.
Yep. Stripped you.
It stripped me of that need to perform. I asked for it and it did that. The last year and a half, there's not very many pictures on my phone. I noticed things like that. There isn't very many, like, I don't tell people everything I do. I don't need to anymore. And I don't know. I don't really care. I don't really care what you think of me. Like,
What if you, what about the places where you do care? So, right. So you're talking about you're touching on a piece around like the maybe even an outer intimate ring, but what about the intimate rings? What do you have to say for the folks who struggle with like telling their families like, well, I was going to do a thing, but now I'm not doing that thing?
What would I tell those people?
Oh boy. Do you have anything to offer to that? Yeah.
If anybody ever does that to you, you look at them and go, why are you making this about you? That's what I would say. It's not about you. Why are you making this about you? I'm just telling you what I'm doing with my life. You got a problem with it, or you got something else? That's not my problem at all. Why are you making that about you? If you don't make it about you, you'd be fucking happy to hear what I'm doing. You'd be on my side. You'd ask me what you could do to help.
Yeah.
You'd tell us that, guess what? I'm going to be really close to where you guys are landing, and you're going to, and I can come help you unpack.
Which we have a friend who's in the room who literally said that.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no shame. If you have shame for telling somebody your dream changed, then you better reassess how you built that foundation. You better, because you didn't do it for the right reasons. If you have shame, you shouldn't have any shame if you're righteous about what you're doing.
Ooh, let's hang with that for a second.
You shouldn't have shame for it.
Maybe there's no room for shame if you're righteous in what you're about.
Shit, I would be like working on something and I'd fall down or I'd make a mistake and I'd look up and go, God damn it, I wish somebody could have seen that, because that was a total dramatic production and it went without anybody laughing at me or going, yeah, you just fell off that thing or whatever. Like, that's what life, it just becomes hilarious. You can think what you want. You know, when I told people, I disappeared for like a year and a half while I was dying there. And I didn't talk to many people. And when I told people we were going to buy a gas station, selling the homestead, buying a gas station, and moving to Augusta, Montana, a few friends went, that's the coolest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
That's the coolest thing anybody's ever said to me. And I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
And then when I got to tell them, I had a heart attack and now I'm going to live with geezers at the fucking bocce club. But you know what those guys said to me? That's the next coolest thing I've ever heard fucking somebody say. My story only gets better.
Ooh.
My story only gets better.
Me too.
I got nothing to hide. Anything, there's no backtracking, there's no backsliding.
That's the thing that
I live in intention. That's
part of what we were talking about this morning is like, when something happens, we let it move us. Like we're not going to sit still. We're not going to, and it's not, again, it's not about bypass. It's not about ignoring at all. Like we have been with all of the parts of this process. And you know, we might be people who skip steps and other people might have a different pace of evolution. That's cool. This isn't about like making our pace anyone else's pace, but how cool to be partnered with somebody who moves at a pretty symbiotic pace. Like that's baller.
That's a whole motherfucking almost live or whatever they call it. Whatever you call this.
Oh my God, what do you call this? Almost live. We're almost live.
Meg and I are manifestors. We're Manny Jenny's, both of us, but we figured out how to make shit happen.
We make shit happen.
We make it happen fast. And I've had a few people ask me, please do share. But Meg and I peeled some of the onion back and we have practiced and have proven
that
some pretty like,
this isn't a thing that you can, oops, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just have the excitement. This isn't a thing that you can kind of, the power of the pivot. So we kind of tricked you all by calling this practice live that, because it's not like, here's this answer. da 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 da. Do these steps. It's like we've spent years working on our nervous system, working on clearing out space. Yes, it included health crisis for both of us. For me, it was cancer and a hysterectomy last year. And this year it's a heart attack for Charley. But like, we've really made a lot of space, and it's been a consistent series of small steps to not be at the mercy of crisis, to not be at the mercy of assumptions of other people, to not be at the mercy of, to actually step into that self-sovereignty and realize how much, like what I've realized this year, mini arc of a story. I had an elder turn to me a number of years ago, like 10 years ago now, and say, playing small is just as egoic as playing big. As in, ooh, you're playing small, and it's like just as much of an ego fuckery as playing big could be. And I was like, ugh, ugh. I don't. But I thought I was being so humble and so helpful. No, and it's been like it's been a long unwinding of like becoming a person. I had this friend for many years, Fitzy, who said you have to have an ego to let an ego go. And this year, I think a lot of you have watched some parts of my glow up where like I hired an incredible coach, and I got some photos taken in it. On the surface, it looks like hiring a coach and getting photos taken, but really it was like a somatic reprinting. JK Ultra used this word reprinting last week, and I was like, totally. It's like I got reprinted in the brand new version of the Matrix. Like it rewired my nervous system from expecting crisis and outsourcing my everything, and allowing myself to get sucked into spending 4 hours to write an email so carefully so that somebody could just be like, bleh, all over
anyways,
it. Anyways, so I'm like,
no matter
why am I like letting all of these things steal my joy and my time and my energy? Oh, I have agency over that. Oh, I have agency over that. I actually need to step into like what I actually want. I read a thing recently, and this tracks with a long arc project of consciousness that I've been working with for over 20 years, which is a person who doesn't know what they want is actually dangerous. And I agree with that. If we don't know what we want, we're not only at the mercy of everything else, which basically means who we are is being replaced by a system that only serves the system. It doesn't serve any of the people. And so if you don't know what you want, you're at the mercy of a series of things that actually are completely dehumanizing. And then you're likely perpetuating that. You're likely replicating those behaviors with people in your life. And that's dangerous. And it's actually an incredibly spiritually attuned thing to not try to save other people or have the answer for other people or to live for other people or to be of service, to think that it's all service for everyone else. And I'm just here to give and give and give until I'm a shriveled little raisin of a expression of a idea of a printed version of a person. Like, what do you want? Like what I want to play. I want to adventure. I want to spend as much time as I can with Charley. I want to paint. And because I want to be discovered. I want to be encountered. I want to be witnessed. I want to witness. I want to encounter. I want to discover not just humans, more than human. I don't think that we can really remember belonging without like actually being in a very active conversation with all that is more than human. That's why I'm talking a bit, even though it's a bit vulnerable, I've been coming out this year of like, no, I mean like, this mountain told us to get out of the way. Like it wasn't like it didn't arrive. It arrived in my imagination, but I received it. It didn't generate it. Like I was able to receive that signal, and Charley received that signal in the way he could, in the way that like made the most sense from his inner world. And we listened because we let ourselves be moved by life, because we've made a bunch of steps. We've been in practice with trusting life. and trusting the flow of the elegance of all that is. So there's not like a handy little PDF packet of like, how do you make the life you want? I'm sure that there actually are billions of PDF packets of how you can make the life you want. But this conversation is like, what does it take to avail yourself, to trust when the signal arrives, and to trust the next right step, to ask ourselves again and again and again, what is my next right step?
That was really good, Meg.
Oh, thanks. I'm going to share Helen's comment again. Thank you, Helen. You know what? Thanks. My hope is that I get to uncover a little bit more of like, I think there are a lot of things that I've held back from saying because I didn't want to be misunderstood, and a piece that's unveiled for me, and really it's because of being in such like intimate proximity with you. I've watched you for the last 7 years. I've watched you get more and more naked and empty.
Yeah.
And some people think you're a dick, and you're not. Like, you're unfiltered.
I say the hard thing.
You say the hard thing, and that's kindness. Kindness is sometimes saying the hard thing. And I, for a long time, when I was eating other people's shadows and trying to like take on other people's projects of their life, it was almost impossible for me to say the hard thing. And I've really learned a lot from being in partnership with you about saying the hard thing and how like absolutely necessary it is, because even though it can incur loss, I've definitely lost some things, some people from saying the hard thing, but but life is more truly aligned. It's more true. Oh, love you. Yeah. Welp.
In summary, what do you have to close us out?
Well, the question that always ends this podcast is there a practice that you would offer? I've offered a practice, which is I invite you to ask yourself, what is my next right step? And I'm wondering if you might have a practice suggestion for folks to really be here.
Fucking watch what you wish for.
Oh my God. I feel like you just said one, which is like, say the hard thing.
Say the hard thing. You're around a bunch of adults.
Ooh, this is so good.
You live and work and interact, you eat with a bunch of fucking adults. And you know what? They can fucking handle it. They can handle it.
Yeah.
So don't mince words. Don't beat around the bush. They can handle it. They're adults. And a lot of people don't want to admit that. So help them realize that by saying the thing.
Yep. And it's a practice. It's a practice to say the hard thing and to bring others with us so that, it's been cool because like I've been practicing coming out and speaking more when I have a hard thing to say. And I keep being met by Charley. I keep being met by the people in my life. Instead of like, it felt like my world would end. I can recall the feeling of like, if I say this, like they'll leave me or they won't understand me and they'll leave me and wait, I'm already alone.
My mom used to say, this too shall pass.
Yep.
That was her thing.
Yep.
Man, this won't even be a thing in a day, week, month, year, dude. So
I know. Can you believe like his heart attack happened 2 weeks and a day ago, and here we are
moving to Arizona
on a podcast,
days.
moving to Arizona in a few days. Yep.
Oh, feeling better than we have in decades.
Yeah. Yeah. Leaving the dead here and, not dragging the zombie corpses with us.
No, we're leaving a lot here.
We're leaving a lot here.
Amen.
Thank you, folks, for being here, for sharing this time and space and being in this conversation. It's through community that we that we make the movements, for the world that we know is possible in our hearts. And I think
the difference happens.
Being willing to be here beside each other in a conversation is like, its essence, it's essential. And it really means a lot when you guys show up here. So thank you.
Thank you.
I have a few announcements of things that are happening. For one, I launched a Stamp Fans. You probably don't know what that is because it's a new company, and it's don't we like that it's touching on OnlyFans, but it's for people who want physical mail in your mailbox. So I've wanted to do a print of the month club for years. And I'm not good at getting to the post. And this company, Stamp Fans, so if you are an artist, I highly recommend looking into them because they take care of everything. They just keep $3 from each subscription to cover paper and their costs and shipping, mailing. So I started a Stamp Fans because it's actually like the perfect solution for me. And I'm going to send it out on the second Friday of every month. So I don't know what their shipping schedule is, but every month there'll be an exclusive print. So if you're curious about that, you can find it somewhere. Maybe I'll link it here below. This Sunday is the solstice, and we're opening our chant service that meets from 10 to noon. It's the once a month Community Vision Council meeting. So we usually meet from 10 to noon Pacific. I've added a little bit of time in case we go a little bit over. And so if you've ever wanted to chant with me, this is a really beautiful opportunity to do so. The community's open this Sunday for $15. You can find that on my website on the temple page. And next month we have Drea from Stellium, the coach that I hired last year, who's so brilliant and has a lot of wisdom to share. And we're going to get into
nice.
What it looks like to architect the world that we want, where we're all actually truly like lusciously supported as we're changing the guard, because we are. The more that money and resources move into the hands that we want it to be in, the more that we actually get to build the world that we want. So I really am looking forward to that conversation. And for those of you who are curious about the Archetype Playhouse, it got moved to May because we're not making everything happen that was going to happen next month. We're going to let it breathe and let it shift and evolve and change form as it needs to. So it's going to happen at the end of May and probably in Arizona. So that's what's here. I look forward to seeing you again next month. And thank you. And thanks, Charlie.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Yeah, seriously. Love you guys.